us.
Thank you, Caroline, for that introduction. Thank you most importantly for the invitation to be part of this symposium. Greatly delightful to share with the international audience what it is we've been doing in the last decade. So essentially, I will share with us a decade of 3 hours orientation in developing countries. Now, let me backtrack a little bit, and that is towards 2014. 2014, like this, I was invited to the Preliminar, the US, on the same platform with the current executive secretary of the executive director, sorry, of AWIC International, Dr. Catherine Bain. And I was asked to answer the question, globalization, is it on track? After considering factors underlying lab animal care and use and looking at 21st century skills in lab animal welfare, my conclusion was that no, it is not. But with a caveat, and I said then, these are the real slides I used in 2014. And I said, however, that there's an emerging phase for standardization and professionalism in humane animal care and use for scientific purposes in developing countries by a culture of compliance. And as at that time, we were just still putting heads to paper and putting heads together and putting pen to the paper. So how did we begin? I left Nigeria in 2007, and every year that I return home, my mentor, who is here, the late Professor Ademola Kaxton-Martins, will ask me to prepare to talk to his students. And this year, 2011, I had muted that I wanted to talk about lab animal welfare because then I was chair of ICOC at St. George's University. Cut a long story short, by the time I got home, there was a hall. It wasn't just his students. An advert has been done, and you can see that poster there has been printed, ICOC in Nigeria. I sent a small abstract, and this was magnified, and there was a national meeting. 216 people were in the audience. At the end of the meeting that day, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of the university insisted this should not be the last. And this was more like the genesis of the event. And so how do we go from there? We thought, okay, most of those who use animals are in universities. So let's talk to the Association of African Universities. So we planned a meeting for 2013, January. But regrettably, December of 2012, my mentor passed away. And so I had to take a decision. Where do we go from here? I knew he would love this to continue. So I made the trip alone, and this was the meeting. And it was after that meeting that the ideas came together. And as such, Accurate became defined, had the name, it was just coined out of animal care and use for research, education, and testing. But the motto is about promoting humane animal care and use for scientific purposes in developing countries. And the intent, or one of the focus, is to create nodules of Accurate in every African country. This was 2012. The target was by 2020, we should have achieved this. But lo and behold, we're only in 6 countries and only 3 of them are active. So in summary, Accurate inception was July 6, 2011, incorporated as a legal entity with constitution and bylaws in March 2014. And its board of trustees is composed of 5 eminent scientists, one in Grenada, another in Canada, the chair is in Nigeria. I am here in the UK. We have a website, and that's the name, and run by a membership, which is uniquely formed. So in 2013, we had a meeting. My friend, Chris Cosgrove, who was a member of the ICOC in St. George's, was our guest speaker. And we had this at the university, Babcock University, in tandem with the support of the then Vice Chancellor. From these, we had to sit down to determine what were the issues and what were the challenges. First, we realized that the mindset about rats by students and researchers was off the tangent. As far as they're concerned, they're just rats. So kill as many as you can, do what you need to do. There were absence of institutional guide and oversight, absence of attending veterinarians, and I dare say, ungodly animal holding facilities and lack of national regulations. So we set out to define a location, establish a baseline for regulation guidelines and operation, set out training programs, one of which will be protocol review, and establish a structure by which this would work, as well as navigate a set of networking with other institutions and other bodies alike. And so in 2016, we had the third international meeting at the University of Calabar. Then the chair was Dr. Chris Newcomer. He was then the ALAC executive director, and we have Professor Tomori Oyewole, who was then the president of the Nigerian Academy of Sciences. That's Chris there. And at the end of this meeting, we had an interim steering committee to man an accurate Nigeria. Following that, we developed the Accurate Directory for Forum, Training and Education. And this enabled us to develop a series of training programs, because one of the key things was the dearth of knowledge concerning humane animal care and use. And as I said, the orientation, the mindset was just, they are just rats. One of these is the independent training program, which was first conducted this in Ghana, University of Legon, and we had guests from 6 different African countries. This was the first time the board met in person. And in the last 10 years, we've always met virtually. And even here, one of the members was not there. That's Professor Desomi, the chair, Professor Hile, the AAU executive secretary, Professor Vinny Nadeau, and that's my humble self. And that meeting, we had Kavia that joined us electronically, remotely in Ghana, listening to him. And we were able to review actually the premise that University of Legon had. A focus of Accurate is that we're geared towards empowering interest, instigating attitudinal change and perception of lab animals from being just rats to giving consideration to their value in order to gain, to their welfare in order to gain value in view of their pain and suffering for the benefit of man and animals. So we have the basic training, which is for students, graduates, postdocs, etc. And we call these essentials of responsible animal experimentation, RANEX. And that was in conjunction with the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research in February and July 2018. That same year, we were able to have the second ITP in the University of Cape Coast in Ghana. And in 2019, because of the problem of lack of oversight, many of the participants said, well, okay, now we know we can't start until our protocol is approved, but our institution do not have a committee to do that. So we developed this designated ICOC in Nigeria workshop, and this was the first one in 2019 at IITA. It was in conjunction with the Veterinary Council of Nigeria. That was the then acting registrar. And as of today, we're working on an MOU with the VCN to ensure accreditation of animal holding facilities wherever it is on any institution that use animals. The meeting had 7 universities, delegation from 7 universities, and we have instructors from Uganda, from the US, as well as from Nigeria. This was the recommendation from that workshop. The first is the interesting one, and it states every institution with animal holding facility should ensure an oversight function for the welfare of the animals in their facilities. This we believe is the basic underlying recommendation that every institution who will have animals on their premises should hold. In the last decade, these are the meetings we've held, a forum training, and the education one is spending. We're looking for funding, and in block there in bold are the number of participants. The year 2020 was an interesting one, but before then we became members of ICLAS, and I also am a member of the stakeholder board of EdPlus, and we have collaborated with other similar bodies and enacted these guidelines for the establishment and functioning of Animal Ethics Committee in Africa. But then Accurate has also been instrumental in as training instructors to the University of Ibadan, Nigeria, the Ethiopian Public Health Institute in Addis Ababa, and Makerere University in Kampala 2021. The year 2020 was not a good one. We had these RANEX basics planned out for these three countries, but we couldn't implement it. So it's still something we're looking at. Our Accurate guiding principle is the statement by the 8th edition of the guide, which states that all personnel involved in the care and use of animals must be adequately educated, trained, and qualified in the basic principles of laboratory animal science to help ensure high quality science and animal well-being. And this is the message we preach all day long. As of today, our focus is to continue this reorientation of the mindset of the younger scientists, PG students. We are continuing with this designated training of Animal Ethics Committee through institutional authorities. And in 2020, we had a list of items or a list of events planned for Abuja, which we are hoping that the ongoing academic staff strike will be resolved early enough to enable us to do that. But an important project that we have ongoing is LADCOM. This is Lab Animal Diet Consortium of Nigeria. And this is a team that is looking at solving the problem of research diet, which is a huge problem, not only in Nigeria, but in several other countries, because manufacturers are not available and standard diet does not exist. The other thing we're looking towards to address is the issue of attending veterinarian. While we have several faculties of veterinary medicine, several veterinarians that are being graduated, lab animal medicine is not a focus. And these we want to initiate, draw attention, and promote awareness through a lab animal medicine summit. And interestingly, this research project on natural light is a multi-site refinement research project that we're putting together to seek for funding. And these are the flyer base for the events we have planned for Abuja, the One Health, One Welfare, because this year we are 10 years. And so we intend to celebrate the 10th year anniversary, as well as have this Lab Animal Medicine Summit as a means to prepare for better science for the next decade. And so this is the template for the anniversary. We'd like to thank all those who have been supportive over the years. Laboratory Animals Limited in the UK, CRC Press, Taylor and Francis Group, the Citox Lab, Techniplast, the International Society for Neurochemistry, as well as ALAC International. And these institutions Because of the challenge of funding, we've always aimed to partner with institutions so that we're able to beat on having to look for hotels. And so we have the University of Legon in Ghana, University of Ilorin in Nigeria, Nigerian Institute of Medical Research, the University of Calabar, Babcock University, as well as the University of Cape Coast. All of these have been germane to our success story as of today. I want to thank you for your attention. And this is Accurate, a multinational, interdisciplinary professional organization. It is though chartered in Nigeria, but it's aimed promoting humane animal care and use for scientific purposes in developing countries. Thank you so much.